darling. This is River Roaring, celebrating the luminous life force in us all. Hello, darling. I'm River Roaring, and this episode is River's Tips for Delicious Dating and Mating. So today I want to talk about the most wonderful process of going out there to meet new people and to meet your future partner. And this same kind of system that I'm describing, I realized also works when you already have your partner and you're in a partnership. This same process works. That's why I call it delicious dating and mating. But mainly today is I want to share my view of dating and how wonderful and beautiful dating is. I have lived on both sides, and I see most people I talk to who are in dating and are starting to date or about to date or dating are in the category I used to live in. I know it pretty well. It's very, it's anxiety provoking. It's kind of painful. I remember thinking I need to date, but this is horrible. You know, I need to date, but I just dreaded the process of meeting new people, and I had an opinion that it would be hard to meet people I really liked, and would have to go out on lots of painful dates, stressful dates to try to find somebody I really liked. What if they're not even out there? And what if they don't like me? Oh my gosh. And I started looking at myself. Am I up for this? Am I someone else would want to date? And that is on one side of the kind of fence, is like anxious dating and painful dating. And I did do that. And on the other side of the fence is the kind of dating I want to talk about, delicious dating. It's not anxiety producing. It's a whole nother game. And so I want to share with you my way of looking at dating, my system of dating. Of course, yes, I do teach and coach in dating. And I have dated a lot, like a heck of a lot. And so I am not currently on the dating apps at this very moment, but I could be. And I have spent many years on the dating apps and meeting people in person for dating and dating a lot. So this comes from, honestly, my personal experience and my professional experience and the way I guide people as well. So I want to share my method and also alongside that try to include my own personal stories to try to illustrate how the method works. So for delicious dating, I have boiled it down to an awesome 5-step process. And the first step is the dream. And this is the most important part of the entire process. This part is the most important part, and I never see it shared in other people's dating advice. So before you do anything about your dating, my invitation is to come up with the most beautiful dream. And that's because just like in all of our life, in all the different areas of our life, the same with dating, which is the important part is the imaginary vision or dream of what it is I want to do. And everything else that happens is just a result of that thought form. So mindset, you could call it, or really more importantly, a thought form, or what I like to call a dream, which is a vision in your imagination when you're nice and relaxed and your imagination goes off to sail in the unbounded waters, and you come up with an imaginary landscape that's all yours. That's what I call the dream. And like I said, in dating, however I dream or have a thought form about what's about to happen is what will happen. That's basically how the universe works. And there's all kinds of little details and complications, but the big picture is important, which is I first start with a vision, or else it's going to be a catastrophe. I've been on those dates. Where I'm like, just kill me now. Just kill me now. I don't want to do this. It's so painful, and I want you to never, ever have another date that's painful inside, that you wish you weren't on, that you are enduring or tolerating. So step number 1, the dream. Take some time to be relaxed. This is a very important part of the process. And then let your imagination run wild in the unbounded parts of your higher mind that are not anything to do with logic and thinking. No reasonableness allowed. Just come up with the most beautiful imaginary vision of the person who you're looking for with you. Imagine you've gotten them, you've found one another successfully in your dating, and you're together, and let your imagination imagine how perfect it would be and what would be happening there. Because everything that follows after that in this whole 5-step process is going to be a reflection of, or measured by, in a way also measured by, assessed by, it's going to be in the light of this original dream. I'm thinking of a time when I did this, and it was many years ago. I did this. I just said, okay, I'm dating several people. Nothing is in a primary relationship kind of situation. And I think I would like someone more close to me and like a deeper relationship. So I spent time dreaming. I remember specifically being at Deep Eddy in Austin, which is a natural spring-fed swimming pool. And I know I did it more than just once, but I do remember being there, dreaming, just in the sunshine, swimming, and then laying out after the swim and dreaming, daydreaming under the trees there in the grass. And what came through for me after a series of meditations or dreams or visions where I'm seeking the answer to from my imagination, or you could say my soul, where my soul speaks to me. And I'm seeking that, like, what would be the highest and best type of next relationship for me? And after a series of periods where I was dreaming, I don't want you to think that all of this happened in just one time, because I would come back to it, keep painting the canvas, keep letting the movie play forward. And what I came up with was, in my dream, I do want one new lover who is really practiced in specific sexual energy cultivation practices. I don't want, at this next person in my life, I don't want to teach or show them things. I want someone who already knows sexual energy cultivation practices and does them. And I want to have that kind of relationship where we commune around our sexual energy cultivation. And then I realized I also want a second relationship. I also want someone who I can mentor or train. So this one was a little bit more of a kink, dominant, submissive, and in a training role or guiding role to kind of raise a young pup, so to speak. And I wanted both of these to be my next two lovers or partners. And I just wanted to share that dream with you because I'm inviting you to dream really big. It could be more than one person. It could be any direction. It could be your one life partner forever and all, the rest of eternity. But paint in your mind, in your imagination, the most wonderful and perfect outcome of this dating process. you with someone else and how you're showing up, how they're showing up, what kinds of stuff you're doing together. Your favorite things, of course, because this is your imagination. So this dream is very important. It's important that you let it be limitless, that you let it be your favorite things, that you let scenes play out where you see how you're showing up, where you see how they're showing up. Who are they? Who are you? I did all this dreaming, and I also want to say that never in the dreaming process did I ever have a specific face that showed up. It never showed me the specific face, what skin color they had. Honestly, with me, I know not everyone is the same, but I didn't care what gender it was. I just had a vision for the type of person it was. In the sexual energy cultivation, I did want a male body for the specific cultivation purposes. But beyond that, I couldn't see anything about the person. Tall, short, I don't know. Skin color, I don't know. I don't know. And on the other one, the trainer version, I did not have even a gender in mind. I just know this is how I want it to feel. This is the kind of person I want them to be. This is the kind of person I want to be. This is the kind of areas I want to grow in with this next person. So that's the way I think of imagination and dreaming. Not do they have blue eyes, dark hair, light hair, not that. It's not how do they look, it's how does it feel to be with them? What kind of person is it? And who am I? So that's step number one, the beautiful dream, the beautiful vision. I might call it an inspiring dream for how your whole dating process ends up successful. Okay, so that's step number one. I teach that in a course for wheelheads or people who've been through my weekend workshop. There's a lot of detail, a lot of more can be said about it. But the most important part is just let your imagination run wild until your whole body lights up and tingles with like, wow, that is the best. That would be the best. And I also want to say in the dreaming part, don't worry about like having the wrong dream or the dream that isn't the best in the whole world, because when I had that dreaming process, it would have been around 2014, maybe around 2014. That's 12 years ago. So I've had those relationships exactly as I dreamed them. And then for each one of those people, I was with them about 4 years. And that was 12 years ago when I started. So a lot of things have happened since then. And since then, I've had new dreams. And now my life is playing out the future dreams that came after that dream happened. And I already had those relationships for years. And now I've dreamed again and dreamed again. And at this very moment, I'm living in the relationship I dreamed most recently. So you can't have a wrong dream. Whatever dream is the best for you is the one that will light up your body the most when you imagine it. And the more you have your body lighting up while you're still relaxed, that is the dream for you. That's as good as it gets for now. And then live that out, and you'll probably have another one later. And that's not failure. That's success. That's how life is. Life is a series of experiments. So we're not supposed to always have the next thing be the last thing we do. Right? It might be, but it might not be. So just let your imagination run wild, see what lights your body up, and then really feel into who are you in this dream? Who are they in this dream? What are they like? What's it like to be together? And we go to number 2. And I spent a lot of time on number 1 because you're going to see why later. Going on to number 2 is your dating profile. A really fun one, right? So basically, your dating profile is going to now be the beginning of the new mindset. So after you've had your unbridled dream, and you've made some notes about that somewhere so you're real clear on what you're doing on that dream, you can come back to it and add to it anytime. Now we're hitting the real world. So now we come back to the material world, and now I encourage you to adopt a mindset as you set out to put your profile together. And the mindset is, I am about to create my dream in reality, and I am now on the hunt for the person or people who are going to who step into my dream and be that person with me. So my mindset is not, oh gosh, I bet there isn't anyone out there for me, and I hope they like me, and what can I do so that they like me, and how can I change myself, like go get my hair cut and get some new clothes, do something for yourself that makes you look different or sound different or act different. That's not how we do it. That's the old mindset. To change yourself, to worry what they think, to wonder if there's anyone out there for you. Those are the old mindset. The new mindset for dating deliciously is, it's almost like you're casting a role for a play and you're seeking out the actors who are going to step into that play. The play is your dream, and you are now casting your dream. That's what dating is going to be for you. You already have the dream. Now the question is, who's going to step into the starring role with you? That's the mindset of dating now. So you don't need to change anything about yourself except what I'll talk about later after the profile, which is you becoming who you showed up in the dream to be. Maybe I had a dream that I was showing up a certain way as well. For instance, in the training role, I have not specifically taken that role before at that time. So I was like, I don't know how exactly I'll show up. So I'll dream into and imagine how I show up in that role. So when you're ready for your profile, you are basically creating a document. I'm going to just start it out by calling it a document and some images. And then I'll talk about the format for the dating apps and everything later. But for now, when I talk about profile, I'm talking about a document and some images. I encourage you, that document and the images are basically like a casting call for your starring co-star in this play, which is your dream. So in the profile, I recommend no matter what dating app you're using or what they allow you to put in there and don't allow you to put in there, don't worry about that right now. Don't worry about the format. My recommendation is that you create a document that is your profile and and set aside the 3 to 5 images that you want to use. And that's what I'm talking about with profile. And I suggest that you write one paragraph on who am I in the dream, right? So who are you, like, what do you mean? Like where I went to school, like where I went to high school? No, I don't think so. Maybe that's in your dream, but probably not. So what I'm talking about when I say who are you is make one paragraph, this is who I am, and write out who you are in the light of your inspiring dream. I'm not asking you to lie, of course, never do that. I'm saying which sides of you come out in that dream that are in you now, which sides of you are showing in the light of your inspired dream, and write those down of who you are in first paragraph. Second paragraph is what I am available for. I am available for, so who am I would have been back then when I was dating a lot more, would have been, who am I? I am, I don't know exactly how to say it, but I would have thrown in there, I am kinky, polyamorous, really on a role of having a lot of fun and meeting new people and looking for really cool people to hang out with and also play with. And what I'm available for would have been a night you'll never forget. I didn't say it exactly like that, but at that time I was not available for long-term relationship or marriage or something. I was available for a really fun time playing to see how much fun we could have together. And so I was honest about that in the dating profile. So paragraph number 1, I am this is who I am. Paragraph number 2, what I'm available for. Make that just crisp and clear. No beating around the bush. Just exactly what was in your dream. And then third paragraph for your profile, I am seeking a partner who. And what are you going to describe in that paragraph about your partner that you're looking for? Correct. You're going to describe the person in your dream. You're just going to describe that person in the best language you've got. So that is 3 paragraphs of the profile. And then finally, number 4 is not a paragraph, it's your images. So I encourage you to find 3 to 5 images of yourself that are honest, that are relatively recent, so they're very honest. And what kind of pictures are you going to pick or go take? You know the answer. You're going to use images that reflect your inspiring dream. You're going to use images that show the sides of you is how you showed up in the inspiring dream and what you're doing there and what you're looking for. So get 3 to 5 images together that reflect you as you show up in your inspired dream. And then the final piece on profile is you have now 3 short paragraphs and your 3 to 5 images. And the final step for profile is add your own style. So I think mine was something more like cosmic goddess seeking fellow cosmonaut to travel through universe with, walking up to edges and finding the most thrilling corners of the wormholes and the stargates we can find, something like this, because that was my style. So I think I could find an old one, and it would be funny if I found an old profile, like my OkCupid one from a long time ago. Pretty funny, pretty interesting. But that was my style, and that's what I got, baby. Because when you put your own style into it, which will probably not be the way I put it mine, when you put your own style on it, lay over your own style on your 3 paragraphs and your images, that is what is really going to create the dream for the other person who's reading your profile. So the style you want to lay over there, of course, is the style that you show up in your dream. And of course, I'm talking about an authentic vision of your future self, not a fake personality at all. That's the opposite. Finally, when it comes to step number 2, profile, I want to talk about format. So my invitation, if you want to do my method, is to come up with these 3 paragraphs, keep them fresh as you change, and as you think of something really interesting that you want to put in those paragraphs, keep your profile up to date. The paragraphs of who am I, what am I available for, and who am I seeking. And keep them up to date. Keep them fun, keep them exciting for you, keep them super in tune with your dream. And then when you use a dating app, they often have very strict limits on what kind of information you can put up, how many characters, how you answer questions. So if you have a dating app that only lets you put, say, 3 sentences, then look through your document that is your profile and choose the one best sentence from each paragraph and circle that. Circle like that's the real key to the paragraph right here, here, and here. Those are the sentences you'll use in your dating app that only let you put 3 sentences in. And they only let you put 2 pictures. You're going to pick the 2 pictures out of your 3 to 5 that are the coolest representative pictures of your dream and you in the dream. So you'll just, and then let's just say you're using a dating app that doesn't let you put very much info in the profile, and you take some nuggets from your document and your images and put them in there. Then I'll talk about the follow-up conversations with people later, but as you have your initial online conversations with people, then start to trickle in the rest of what you already wrote in your profile as quickly as you can in the upfront communications. So basically, even if you do not use very much from the profile you created in the actual profile on the dating app because of its limitations, you still have your written, it's basically your lead, what you want to lead with. Like, as soon as you can talk with someone and have unlimited space, then share more about, like, this is really who I am. This is what I'm available for. This is the kind of person I'm seeking. So you already have your initial conversations. If you didn't use all of your profile in the official profile, you can start drawing from that and make sure you get across those main points up front, because those are the most important points you already pulled out for your dream creation. So whatever format, put as much of your profile that you created into the official profile the platform lets you use, and then get the rest of the profile that you wrote out in early conversations, so you're clear with the people you're meeting about who you are, what you're available for, and what you're looking for. And by the way, if you're not going to use the dating apps at all, still do the profile practice I'm talking about 100%. And then you're going to have your openers for when you're out in person meeting people. So I did this profile, and then when I'm out in person, I don't have to worry or wonder what I'm going to start talking about in the beginning. I'm just going to start talking about parts of my profile in person, verbally, and I already have kind of like an outline of the most important points I want to get across with people up front when I'm kind of interviewing them or casting them for my dream play, right? All right, so the profile is very important because it really gets your dream down on paper and in pictures. That's number 2 in the dating process. This is actually we've done the hardest part so far, because it's all visioning and getting that down. Number 3, dating process, online conversations / screening / casting couch. Just kidding, there's not a couch. So online conversations, and if you're not doing online dating, then this has to do with the very first words that are spoken when you're with people in person that you might like. So if I enter a room in person, I, by default, will be scanning the room for people I think are cute. And then, let's say I see someone, and then when we are speaking, this is the same comparison. The very first words out of my mouth are the same comparison really to this first online conversations, the initial conversations. And there's a real art here. In these initial online conversations, I'm not trying to show them how awesome I am. I'm trying to show up as I showed up in my inspiring dream. So I am wanting to develop those parts of my personality and my character, and I'm using the chance to speak with someone new to bring those parts of me out and shine as who I dream myself to be. So in my initial lines, I'm going to be the character in my dream and bring those parts of me forward. And it's actually a big, beautiful spiritual practice, actually, because I'm practicing being in the state that I want to show up as in those first online conversations. And the same thing is when I'm talking with them, I am actually screening, because somebody from the online conversations I'm probably going to agree to meet in person. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really want to waste my time driving or going to a location and sitting down with someone if it's not going to be my dream, and I could have figured that out earlier. So the online conversations are me practicing showing up the way I want to show up, and practicing basically interviewing people for the part in my dream to be the co-star. And so that's very different than showing up super nervous because I don't know what they're going to say, and I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't like them, and I don't know how many ways I'm going to try to make myself likable to them and be full of anxiety. It's quite the opposite. So I'm just showing up as myself, and I'm going to practice being the person I want to be in the world. So that's a big opportunity in the online conversation. And then I'm also going to be asking them questions to see if they are the person I had in mind in my dream. So for instance, if I was like, oh, I have a dream that and this happened for real. So I put the profile up, seeking seasoned sexual energy practitioner for cultivation, dual cultivation, practicing, and finding new heights together. And I put a lot more effort into it. And that's the kind of thing I had out there. So then I had people contacting me online. Hey, I think I might fit this profile, want to get together. And I was like, how many years have you been practicing sexual energy cultivation, and what kind of practices do you do online? And most of them were like, none, but you could teach me. That was the most frequent answer. And that was so helpful, because then I could say, oh, you're actually not what I am looking for. Good luck to you. I wish you a lot of luck, and I'm not going to be it. So online, I got to test whether they are what I'm looking for in my dream enough to assess whether I want to go somewhere physically and meet them. And in addition to that, I don't like online conversation I don't like it to continue too long. I'd rather be in person pretty quickly. So I'm not dilly-dallying in the online convo. I think now, in this day and age, a few years later, more people are more practiced and developed at hiding themselves behind online and staying online and not coming out to meet others in person, which is a very beautiful thing and takes some skills and courage also. And I think when I was doing it, more people were out in person and used to doing that. And now you have more people who are used to hiding online from in-person connection. And so for me, one of the screenings is after we clear a few hurdles, like in this case, tell me about your sexual energy cultivation practice. And someone says, oh, I've been practicing for 10 years, studied under so-and-so and do so-and-so, blah, practice. And I'm like, oh, would you like to meet Tuesday at 7 down the street at the so-and-so? And if they're like, no, I just want to talk more online, I'm like, okay, you did not meet my criteria, because I don't really want to be online very much. And so if you do, we don't match. So the online conversations are a practice opportunity for you and how you show up, and a practice opportunity for how well and cleanly you screen to see if that person is the one you had in mind for your dream, and how quickly and lovingly you can release the communications with all the people who are not the one in your dream, so that you can preserve your time for the one who is the one in your dream who's about to show up. So that's the first online conversations. Step number 4 in River's Delicious Dating Tips is the first in-person meeting. There's a whole array of skills to be developed. In number 1, the dreaming. In number 2, the profile. In number 3, the online communications initially. And here in number 4, the first in-person meeting. What a moment. After all of this dreaming and scheming and screening and casting, what a moment to finally meet them in person, in real life. It's very exciting. I think it's very exciting for everybody. And so there's an entire set of skills to develop inside each one of these dating steps. And so meeting someone in person, so many skills to develop. And what you want to do here is practice showing up in person and breathing and maintaining your physical body in the internal state that you show up in your dream as. That is a lot to practice, because I want to become more like I showed up in the dream, and it's an exciting opportunity to be able to try to do that. And then I'm also, similar to the online, but with a lot more intensity of in-person contact, be connecting with them and also doing the same screening and casting and exploring even more. So if for instance, if I were meeting someone for the first time and I was into the dream of the training relationship where I would be more dominant, I'd be training, I'd be guiding the individual I would meet with. If this did happen, I sit down and after all this dreaming and scheming and then we're finally in person, I sit down with them and it turns out they're very bossy. They're very bossy with me. And I'm like, and very fickle and very contrary. And I'm just like, I really have enjoyed our time together and I don't think this is really going to be a fit. And I wish you a lot of luck. I know there's someone out there who you're looking for. You'll find them and I wish you the best with that. Have a great day. Bye. See you later. Lovingly releasing the connection with everybody who doesn't fit the dream. And this is where a lot of people want to ... settle. A lot of people want to be like, well, they're nice. We could probably have some fun dinners and movies together and a little sex. But I want to invite you to not get stuck settling, because the universe is ready to provide your inspiring dream for you. And the universe is waiting to see if you have the courage and stamina to go toward that dream and not get distracted and not numb out, but stay focused on the dream. And so if you meet someone in person, you've done all this work, you meet someone in person, it's good enough. And you start dating them and you start hanging out with them a lot. That is all of your time and energy that you are now not putting into your dream. And you're the one who chose that. So my invitation to you is to use these first in-person meetings as a real challenge course. Because now with the intensity of in-person, I want to see if I can still be the person in my dream. And I can still explore who they are efficiently still in the first meeting to see if this might work. This person might be the one I was dreaming of here. In which case I would keep moving forward. So that is easily said, not quite as easily done, but quite delicious to try. Quite delicious. Because nothing about this has to do with you changing yourself. Only you practicing stepping up into the human you want to be. Not who they want you to be. Very, very important distinction. Who you want to be in your dream. And not getting distracted by what they say they want you to be. That's a very big place a lot of people detour off of River's tips for delicious dating as well and go into another arena, which is I said I wanted this, but they're saying they want something else. Yeah, I guess I'll go with the way they're looking at it. I'll go with what they want. But it's really the opposite of what I was dreaming of. A lot of people get sidetracked there because they think that they can't get the dream. That's what happens. People don't know. But you don't know if you can get the dream, and the universe works that way, until you're brave enough to say no to every other thing that's not the dream. Then the universe is just waiting to see if you're that brave. So the in-person meeting is a beautiful time for personal growth, spiritual growth. And the success of the in-person meeting is what? A lot of people think the success of the first in-person meeting in dating is the second date. But I disagree. The success of the first in-person meeting is whether you showed up as you show up in your dream and how well you did that, and whether you efficiently screened the other person and honestly screened them to your dream. Yes or no. And whether they were a fit or not is not the measure of success. And whether they said yes to you or not is not the measure of success. So I have asked many people to date me, you could say, or play with me, or, play sexual games with me, what have you, if I liked them and they were fitting in with what I had in mind. And they've said no many times. And I considered every single one of those times a full success. Why? Because I showed up how I wanted to. I said what I wanted to say, and they gave me their honest answer. That's a check mark for success on the in-person meeting and the ask. So, number 5, finally, Rivers. 5th tip for delicious Datin and Matin. And number 5 is second dates and beyond, relationships and mating. And I know that's a lot of things to put in one big category, and I have a lot of detailed things I could talk about for hours in the category. Nonetheless, it is the category of we basically kind of passed the date and we're now dating. So I have now crossed the threshold from starting to date to we're now dating, we're going out. We are partners of a kind, right? Dating partners, play partners. And on this, I'm going to point you back to, what do you think I'm going to point you back to? The dream, your imagination, your inspiring dream. So once you start the second date and beyond, my guidance and invitation to you is, my tip, stay close to your dream of the most beautiful, inspirational relationship you can imagine. And what I mean by that is keep the dream alive. Literally take time, even if it's when you're drifting off to sleep, when you first wake up in the morning, to just go into that imaginary space of the most wonderful relationship in the universe you could possibly imagine, what it feels like, who they are, who you are, and keep your relationship alive by showing up as you are in your dream and inviting them to join your dream with you, inviting them to, I had this idea, this crazy thing. Will you do that with me sometime? I had this vision of maybe, I, in my examples, was in a very playful time in my life, playing with lots of different people. Maybe your dream is maybe it's the white picket fence with children, and keep it juicy and alive. Keep dreaming. How could this be more fabulous? And keep creating fabulousness. And let your partner know too, I like to imagine really exciting life and then create that excitement in person. Do you like to do that? I want to keep our relationship alive. I want us to be super real and authentic with one another. And I want to really support one another in really achieving the most wonderful dreams that we each have. And for as long as those overlap, I just am having the time of my life. I hope you are too. And let's do that more together and keep it alive. Let's keep it alive, which means we might change, we might grow. Let's be honest about it. So number 5, second dates and beyond, which is the Matin. Datin to Matin. Keep your dream alive. Keep being clear with who you are, what you're available for, and who you're seeking, because those things are going to evolve. Even within one dream of marriage, and I get married, I can still constantly keep alive, who am I? What am I available for? And what am I seeking in the other person? Which parts of that? And keep it all alive. So there you have it, River Roaring's tips for delicious Datin and Matin. And I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear, have you tried these things? Is this already how you do it? Have you started to try it since you heard this? Has anything worked, not worked? Any comments or reflections or any questions? If you see the podcast in a social media arena, put a comment under the podcast. And if you don't have that ability, shoot me an email. Just visit my site at riverroaring.com and click on Get Connected and Let's Talk River. I think those are the ones to click on over there on the menu, and you will be able to send me your reflections, questions, comments, and I would love to see those. Why? Because together we can step into a more harmonious vibration. We can fly higher, even here on this earth right now in 2026. Shifting human consciousness forever for the highest good of all beings. Let's do it by delicious Datin and Matin. May the love be with you, my darling, and may the love be with us all. Thanks for listening.